rahimallah abdan ahya amrana. Bless the person who revives our amr or our affair. Then the person asked the Imam, what does it mean to revive your affair? What does it mean to revive your amr? And he explains, يتعلم علومنا ويعلمها الناس فإن الناس لو علموا محاسن كلامنا لاتبعونا. Imam explains himself what he means by reviving their amr, reviving their affair. He says to يتعلم علومنا, to learn our ulum, our knowledge, our sciences, ويعلمه الناس, and to teach that to people. And then the Imam says something very interesting. فَإِنَّ النَّاسِ, if people, indeed people, لَوْ عَلِمُوا, if they knew مَحَاسِنَ كَلَامِنَا, the greatness of our speeches, the goodness of what we're saying of our speeches, لَاتَّبَعُونَا, they would have surely followed us. It's very interesting, and usually you hear this hadith sometimes, but I don't think enough attention has been paid to it. Tonight we're going to pay enough attention to this hadith. Imam says if people knew what we are saying, and he doesn't just say what we're saying, he says mahasana kalamina. If people knew the goodness of what we're saying, they would have surely followed us. Now, I want to ask you a question. Can we say that we have revived the affair of the Imam or not? Because he said, Rahimallah abdan ahya amrana. May God bless the one who revives our affair, the affair of the Ahl Bayt and the Imams. Now, can we say we have done this or not? The Imam explains the criteria. If you do it properly, everyone would like it. La taba'una, right? Now, my question is this. What is the situation right now? Have we managed to show the beauty of Ahlul Bayt to more people? Or is it now that even sometimes our own children are asking us, what is the point of this religion? I was in one of the communities, which is not very different to this one, and they told me the rate of praying has become something like 25%. Of the people who cared enough about the community to participate in the survey, 25% prayed. And prayer is usually something which is very high in the list of things people commit to. Now, if even our own people, we have failed to convince them there's some good in following this, it's a little bit difficult to say that we've even showed others, because the Imam says anyone, la taba'una, and nas. Says if people knew what we are saying, everyone would have followed it. And we see that not only we haven't managed to convince other people to follow it, even our own are sometimes leaving a little bit. Now, what is happening? Is the Imam, na'uzu billah, making a mistake here, exaggerating? Or have we made a mistake? It's very interesting that Imam put a condition there. It said if people knew the goodness of what we say, or the good of, like basically our good points, if people knew how that can help them, if people knew what is the role of religion in their life, if people knew what's the point, what does all of this ahadith and everything add to their life, then they would have followed this. In other words, show people why this is useful, then any rational being would love to do something which is useful for them. So if we see that even our own, sometimes the next generations are having some questions, most of the events they invite me to universities, they say, can we speak about why religion? Can we speak about why God? You see, all of these questions are there for them. Why? Because we haven't managed to show there's something beautiful there. There's something good there. If you remember, when I came here for the occasion of Lady Fatima, I mentioned a point. I said, often we gather to celebrate Lady Fatima, or, for example, commemorate her, the anniversary of her martyrdom, and we gather and we say, what an amazing lady. She was this, she was amazing, she was a role model, Prophet loved her. And then we never ask ourselves, if a young person is sitting there listening to the lecturer, no matter how amazing the lecturer is, he would ask himself, or she would ask himself, okay, fair enough, Lady Fatima, the Prophet loved her, amazing lady. How is this information useful for me? How is this going to change my life? Right? All of that is great to know. But now I'm going to leave the center in half an hour or 1 hour. How am I going to act differently in having this information? Or I don't know if I gave this example here or not. We were in the shrine of Imam Ali alayhi salam. You know, as you enter, my favorite spot is there's this gate, you can see the zari, but outside in the sah, there's this place you can sit and you have a view, it's beautiful. So this is like zari is in front of you. Usually I sit here. But on that night, we had an event on this hall, which is on the right side of this area that I just described. I was giving a lecture, and I thought, you know what, let me speak about what Imam Ali did, as opposed to, for example, mentioning the faza'il, that Aliyun ma'al haq wal haqu ma'ali, which is great. Because all the lecturers had spoken about that Ali is with the truth is with Ali and all of that. I thought, you know what, instead of that, let me mention a few actual things that Imam Ali did. After the lecture, one of the people in our group came to me and said, you know, I'm a convert to Islam, and I accepted Shia Islam because the people who, I don't know, their sources or whatever was a Shia, but it's the first time I actually hear anything about Imam Ali other than that he was great. Like now I finally understood why he is great. You know? Everyone told me he's great, you should love him, we're so happy to be. But no one told me what he did, or now how can I use him as a role model. This is what Imam Reza is saying in this hadith. People would follow us, not if you go and tell them Imam Ali is great or Imam Reza is great. They'll be like, okay, good for you. You have to show them how is their greatness going to affect their lives, or how can they benefit. Right? Imam makes it very clear. So I was thinking, wouldn't it be amazing if Imam Reza himself could tell us how he wanted to be introduced, or if he wanted to speak, what would he say? And luckily, we have that. There is this letter was written by Imam Reza alayhi salam to Abdul Azim. Right? And I just love this letter for so many reasons, but particularly for this reason. It shows how different Imams introduce this school of faith, this maktab, and how we do it. Right? It's beautiful. Now, you may be thinking, well, this letter is only for Abdul Azim. It's not for people, but let me read it. It's Imam Reza's letter to Abdul Azim. Right? So far I was saying that we're not doing justice to the Imams. Then I said, okay, let's see how do Imams themselves would have done it. You are saying they would have done it differently? I think yes. Now let's see how did they do it. So this hadith, the letter, can be found in the book Ikhtisas by Shaykh Mufid, for those who want to go and follow and want to have authentic information. So the hadith is from the book Ikhtisas. Imam says there, Ya Abdul Azim, abligh anni awliya'i as-salam. So the first line makes it clear that it's not just for Abdul Azim. Imam tells Abdul Azim that go and tell my awliya, my friends or my followers, salam from me on my behalf. Right? Abdul Azim has said that, and now from Abdul Azim's side, I'm saying this. So basically, the Imam is saying this. Pass my warm greetings to my awliya, to my friends, to my followers. So it basically makes it clear that it's for everyone. وَقُلْ لَهُمْ, and tell them, so pass them my salam and tell them, أَنْ لَا يَجْعَلُ الشَّيْطَانَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ سَبِيلًا. Do not give shaitan over yourself control, basically. Now, so far, very good. The Imam said, Salam alaikum, and then said, tell them, do not give shaitan control over you. The beautiful point for me is this. After Imam says, don't give shaitan control over you, your mind immediately goes somewhere, right? What is that? Don't shout it, but just in your mind, think about it. What are the kind of things we have in mind which are the first priority of bad things? And then let's see what does Imam say. Because I think this just shows how different we've become to how the Ahlul Bayt want us to be. And of course, in this, there's opportunity for us to change. So have in mind, as soon as you hear shaitan, what comes to your mind? And then let's see what does the Imam say. وَمُرْهُمْ بِالصِّدْقِ. Order them to honesty. In other words, what's the most important thing? Honesty. Right? Now go back to what you were thinking. So basically the worst becomes lying. Lying to your family, lying to your husband, lying to your wife, lying to your children, lying to your colleague, lying at work, lying in a form, lying in the insurance form, whatever. The first thing the Imam says is be honest, don't lie. And then let's go back to the other hadith. He said, if people knew what we say, they would have followed us. Now tell me, which person is it that doesn't like honesty? If you said that the Shia community is the most honest community in the world, everyone says, oh my God, I want to be part of that community. Right? But now it's a comment that we really can't make. We can't say we're the most honest. Let's continue. مرهم بالصدق في الحديث حديث وأداء الأمانة, and returning back, so being trustworthy. If they have an amana, they have to return it. If they borrow something, they have to return it. These are the two most important things for the Imam. And then he says, وَمُرْهُمْ بِالسُّكُوت, order them, instruct them towards silence, not speaking. It explains what he means by silence. He explains immediately afterwards. It's not that don't talk. وَتَرْكُ الْجِدَالِ فِي مَا لَا يَعْنِيهِمْ. Do not argue over what has nothing to do with you. Right? This is what he means by silence. And unfortunately, sometimes this happens. I've seen, for example, a Shaykh does something somewhere. Everyone suddenly in the comment section, his fans and his people who don't like him, yeah, he did this, he did that. What does this have to do with you? Or, for example, na'uzubillah, even worse, harming the reputation of a mu'min, which we have in the hadith. Humiliating or disgracing a mu'min is worse than disrespecting the Makkah. Right? So I just want to show us what are the kind of priorities that the Imam had in his mind. One of the great ustads of akhlaq in Iran, mentioned a beautiful point, Ayatollah Fatimini. He said, sometimes I hear people say, a certain individual is very religious. The only problem is that he just gets angry a little bit and he harms his family. He says, immediately I tell them, hang on a second. You told me he's religious. Now you're saying that he gets angry and harms his family? How can you reconcile these two? And he was mentioning a point which is very beautiful. At some point, I don't know for what reason, we accepted that religion is mainly a few acts, like read the Quran even if you don't understand, pray, pay your khums, go to Hajj, and that's it. That you're a religious person. Now, not being angry, being honest, not harming your family, these are basically just bonus points, options, that premium options. He was saying that Ustad Akhlaq, that's completely wrong. One of these bad qualities, one of these bad ethical qualities like lying, harming your family, being harsh at home, stops you from being a religious person. They have equal, if not more significance than the kind of things we associate with a person being religious. It's wrong to say, yes, certain individual is religious, but he, for example, is harsh to his children. Which unfortunately you see, just today I received this news, I was so shocked, like I didn't even reply. The person thought I don't care, but I just didn't know what to say. He said, there's this person active in the community, but we've heard he beats his wife. I was like, what is this? So the important point here, we can't say he's religious, but he's angry. No. Religion is a whole package. Not being angry is a very important part of it. In the same way that would you ever say, yes, this certain person is very religious, he just doesn't pray and doesn't fast. Would you ever say that? No. So why do we accept to say that certain person is very religious, but he may backbite, he may humiliate someone, he may not be very much honest, he's not very nice at home? Right? Remember that Imam says this is the main thing for us. Or if you don't still believe me, let me finish this letter. You would be so shocked. It's very strong, the letter. So far we said honesty, returning something they've borrowed, basically ترك الجدال فيما لا يعنيهم. If something doesn't concern you, ignore it. Why do you waste your life concerning about something that doesn't matter to you, does not concern you? And then he says, وَإِقْبَالِ بَعْضِهِمْ عَلَى بَعْض وَالْمُزَاوَرَةِ. Visit each other. Go see each other. Right? You know, often when we hear Islamic lifestyle, here our lifestyle, our religious lifestyle is being threatened by this and that, only one or two things come to people's mind. No one thinks that if you're working so hard, you never have time to go and see your friends, especially in London, which is so large. The Imam cares more about this than some other things you have in mind. Right? Imagine Imam had one opportunity to send us a message. He said, be honest. Don't waste your time over things don't concern you, and go see each other. Go visit each other. And sometimes when you actually, in London, it's so crazy, it's so large, maybe you don't see a friend for a year. Just recently, my wife went to visit one of her friends and she realized, oh my God, all this year she's been having problem. She didn't have relatives in London. If we knew earlier, we could have helped. Now we've made a list in my house of all the people we know and how regularly we should go and visit them. Because we need each other. We need to be there for each other. And another thing which I don't know why a lot of people criticized me for this. I'm very honest and open. A lot of people are not. And this causes problems. Because a lot of times we have problems that our friends can actually help solve. But we have, I don't know, we have a pride or we're just cold. We just don't express it. But sometimes, believe me, sometimes I usually am the first one to take the first step. As soon as I feel, well, you know what, I'm dealing with this problem. Because I just want people to feel comfortable. As soon as they feel comfortable, they let it out. And you see, oh my God, what's been happening there? And then the person says, yes, actually, I'm going through a very stressful time. I can't tell anyone. Right? The Imam says, go visit each other and share these things so you can solve it. Together as a community, we can be strong if we're comfortable with each other. Right? So no matter what people tell, I'll always be honest. If I'm in pain, I will say. Because that will give others the opportunity. I posted something on Instagram saying, yes, life is tough. Sometimes you go through difficulties. And it's actually in these difficulties that you enjoy the relation with God more sometimes. Because it's a challenge. And sometimes, I've always said, faith doesn't mean you won't have pain. Faith means that in pain, you would be stronger. So I shared this on my Instagram. You cannot believe, for 2 days, people sending messages to me that now we can finally tell someone that we're going through a difficult time in our life. Like someone was saying, my parents are ill and it's getting really tough for me. I just want to speak to someone. I just need to tell someone. And you know, one of the things I have in life is that from very young age, I've always seen my loved ones in pain. So I'm quite used to pain. It's been a lot of pain. One of the things I've learned is that, you know, there's a kind of pain that you really can't do anything about it. You know it won't go away. It will be there. And you just have to deal with it. It's like, this is it. This is my share. Let's take it on. I've realized in this kind of pain, what really helps is for someone just to be there. You know, when you're together, when other people come and say, you know what, we're with you. Like we know we can't do anything. Because some people come and say, it's going to be okay. No, it's not going to be okay sometimes. But we're going to be with you and we're going to go through this pain together with you. And this does miracles. So the Imam says, and this is what the Imam said, you know, he had one paragraph to share important messages. This is what he says. وَإِقْبَالِ بَعْضِهِمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ وَالْمُزَاوَرَةِ. Go and see each other. Do muzawara. What does it mean? It comes from the same root as ziyara. Muzawara, go do ziyarat of each other. There's also, I think, a hadith from the Prophet. He says, even if you have to walk 1,000 farsakh, I don't know exactly how much miles that would be, a large. Even if you have to walk 1,000 farsakh to go and visit a friend, barefoot, go do it. That's how important it is. Right? This is what Islamic lifestyle is. Seeing each other in this very capitalistic world. This part you would not believe it. فَإِنَّ ذَلِكَ قُرْبَةٌ إِلَيَّ. It says if you go see each other, قُرْبَةٌ إِلَيَّ, you're getting close to me. Right? Go be there for each other. See what is the kind of problem your friend is dealing with, or actually maybe a happy occasion. Some people, you know, have happy occasions. They have no one to share it with. Go there, be happy with them, celebrate with them. And the Imam says, do this. That's qurbatun ilayya. You're getting close to me. Now again, let me remind us of that hadith that Imam said, if people knew what we want from them, لَاتَّبَعُونَا, they would have followed us. Now, who is it that if you say, there are this group of people that their leader told them, be honest, return something you've borrowed, go be nice to each other, visit each other, who would hear this and not say, I want to be a part of this? Right? This is what the Imam was saying, La taba'una. Now try to quickly finish. How much time we have till Azan? 2 minutes. Beautiful. We've covered half of it. Let me quickly go ahead. وَلَا يَشْتَغِلُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ بِتَمْزِيقِ بَعْضِهِمْ بَعْضًا. We can talk about this later on. I can always come back. He says, don't have enmity towards each other. Now this point. This is especially for those who say, we're Shias, we're sorted. We have love for the Ahlul Bayt, we're in heaven. This is for you, my love. The Imam says, فَإِنِّي آلَيْتُ عَلَى نَفْسِي إِنَّهُ مَنْ فَعَلَ ذَلِكَ وَأَسْخَطَ وَلِيًّا مِنْ أَوْلِيَائِي. The Imam says, I've promised myself that if someone does that, has enmity towards one of my friends or one of my followers, what will I do? If, for example, he doesn't go see them, he has enmity towards them, what will I do? دعوت الله ليعذبه في الدنيا أشد العذاب وكان في الآخرة من الخاسرين. I will pray that God punishes him in this world. If you are bad to my followers, if you're nice to them, and by the way, this includes our children, our family, our wife, everyone. Imam says, if you're not nice to them, if you grow a grudge or an enmity in your heart, I have promised that I will ask God to punish you. So, in other words, be nice. Now, the beautiful point is this. Imam says, tell my people, tell my followers. I won't read Arabic because we don't have time. Just have this in mind. The last thing Imam says. My followers are two types, the Imam says. Either muhsineen, good people, the ones who are doing good, God will take care of them, they're going to be happy. But then we have the musi'un, the ones who are not muhsin, the ones who are doing bad. He says the ones who are doing bad are actually a few groups. If they have committed shirk, for example, they have found the truth and they're going against the truth that God is there and God is one. This is one group. And the second group is anyone who harms or is harsh to one of my followers. These two groups will not be forgiven. Anyone else, no matter what sin you've committed, God may forgive you. But if you've committed shirk or if you've harmed someone, these two groups, Imam says, will not be forgiven unless raja qalbahum. So not only they feel bad, but as their heart changes. So they feel bad, terrible, and they stop doing that. Now, once you hear this, what are the most important thing? What is the priority for the Imam? Being nice to followers. Right? It's very important. Imam says a person who doesn't do these things will not be forgiven. I have promised to pray that he will be punished. So what were Imam's priorities? Let's just remind ourselves. Honesty, returning what we've borrowed, not getting ourselves busy with things that don't concern us, especially if in doing so we're harming someone. We come back from a wedding. Oh, did you see how terrible the food was? This and that, or anything. It can have so many forms. It can be on social media, can be against this person, that person. Harming, not going to see each other, not visiting each other, not knowing what's happening, what's my friend going through. Are these, for example, young people in the community who want to get married? Maybe they need help with the mortgage. All of these things are things that you would know if you visit each other. And Imam says, this is what I want from you. And if you don't do this, don't say, okay, I love you. Imam says, don't say I love you. Because if you don't do this, we're very different. And then this is what the Imam says, if people knew what we say, they would have followed us. So, inshallah, I pray that we become among the true followers of the Imams. Not those who just say that the Imams are great, but they don't exactly know how. Some people, or another level, some people may know how, but don't practice. Another step of that is practicing it, going home, being nice. You know how much opportunity in the house is for being nice? How many times, even we're doing good, but our phrase could be a little bit nicer. Someone's calling you, say, what? Say, what is it, my dear? The more we do this, the more nicer we are, the less harsher we are. What is it? Say again. Instead of that, say, what is it? Say again, my love, or with a smile. Imam says, all of this, qurbatun ilayya. You do any of this to my followers, you're getting close to me. Right? So it's a very beautiful thing. And may, inshallah, God put us among these people that are like that, actually follow the Imams. And may God ease the pain of all who are going through difficult times. There are a lot of us who are going through difficult times. And may God give us the strength to go through it and give us the tawfiq to be there for each other. And on that note, happy on this great occasion, the Milad of Imam Reza. What a beautiful person, right? This is what shows he was beautiful. And I think that's it. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Please recite salawat.